Hey guys, it's Jen, and I'm here to share another process video with you. I'm digging into my January, now I'm gonna forget what it's called. My January This Must Be the Place kit from Scraptastic. But before I started, I wanted to show you what I did. I have gone ahead and added my November and my December kits to my January kit because I felt like I wasn't quite done with the November kit. It had a lot of really cute stuff that I wanted to use in it, and some of the December and the November stuff really coordinated well with the January kit. They all have a little bit of Maggie Holmes and Amy Tan and stuff in them, and so I just decided to pile them all together. And because I've got the add-on in November, there's a lot of stuff, and so I just wanted to show you all the stuff I'm working with. So like I said, this is November, December, and January. So November I had the Heart It Races, and then December I had Heartbeats, and this month I have This Must Be the Place. And like I said, those are all kind of similar colorways, and that's a color scheme that I really enjoy working with. It's really feminine and girly, which I love. And so I have lots of embellishments to work with, including all of these and lots of Maggie Holmes stuff, so that's why I decided to include it. And I have lots of letter stickers and different things to work with. And then I have a whole bunch of paper because like I said, I got the main kit and add-on for November, and I really just didn't get that much done. So I have like a huge stack. A lot of it's cardstock. We'll see if I get through that. I don't use a whole lot of cardstock, but I wanted to try and see what I could get done with these 3 kits mixed together. And so I just wanted to make you aware of that because my videos will be showing things from all 3 kits. And so with that in mind, I'll go ahead and put you on fast forward now.
So what I've done is I've gone ahead and cut out a circle on my silhouette just out of this Maggie Holmes paper. And I am scrapbooking 2 photos of my grandmother who passed away last week. And this was kind of the last time that we were able to be with her and see her. And my daughter, she was really tired and kind of out of sorts, and my daughter was reading her a story. And so I really wanted to write down what how I kind of felt about those moments as soon as I could, because I didn't want to forget about those. And so there are lots and lots of awesome like book and story kind of themed products in the Maggie Holmes Open Book collection. And so I'm going to play with some of those pieces to kind of see what I can create to go along with the feel of the page. And that paper that I cut for the outer edge is perfect because I feel like it's kind of grandma-ish with the small floral, and so I'm using that. I'm going through the Maggie Holmes vellum pieces. These came in the January kit, and I'm just finding things that relate to storytelling and things like that. And I'm going through the wood veneer also to see if there's anything I want to include from there. And again, just going through all of the products. I usually go through all the products at the beginning, but I decided to leave this in this time just in case that's something that interests you, to see kind of how I rifle through my things. It's one of my favorite parts of scrapbooking, actually. So I pulled out a few things that I think I'm going to use, and I decided that I wanted a little bit of definition to the outer or the inner edge of that circle there. And so what I'm going to do is I'm taking some Versamark ink, which is a clear sticky ink, and I'm going to put my favorite gold embossing powder, which is Ranger Princess Gold, around those outer edges. And you can see where I've rubbed the Versamark ink. There's just going to be a little bit of an edge or a border around the center of that circle. And then I'm just going to go ahead and emboss that. And it's a little bit tricky because it's in that circle, and I should have thought about this, but I didn't put down a surface that is okay to be heated upon, and so I'm kind of holding up that circle as I'm embossing it, and it was kind of a little bit fidgety, and the paper probably warped more because I did it this way, but that's just the way I did it, so it works. And I really like just the subtle pop that this brings to the inner edges of the cardstock. And it's uneven, and I like that about it. So now I'm just going to kind of play around with some of these pieces, and there are a few that I know for sure I want to include. That typewriter from the Notes and Things collection, it says every moment matters or something like that, and I thought that worked perfectly. And then all of these little vellum pieces that I pulled say things like sharing my story, this moment and this story, stories of us. So everything that has to do with kind of stories. Because like I said, my daughter is reading my grandma a story, and so I also figured that this was the perfect time to use some of those book spines. That's from a Maggie Holmes open book uh, patterned paper. And so I'm using the one that says storyteller, and then I'll also end up adding one that says my favorite memories or something like that. And then I'm also using some of these vellum hearts, and that gold vellum wreath that has the leaves on it. And I'm just kind of, so since I'm bringing in that typewriter, I kind of felt like I needed a few other things that had that aqua color. And so I'm just looking through some of the other products that I have, and I found this sticker from from the Amy Tangerine sticker sheet that says to be continued, and I thought that was just so perfect for this page. Because I believe in life after death, and so I believe my grandma will be going to heaven, and so this is not, the end of her story. It's a to be continued, and so I really loved the idea of that particular sticker. For now, I've added another heart from that same sticker sheet in that kind of greeny aqua color up at the top with the other two hearts, but I'll end up changing my mind. I felt like it was a little bit too green, so I found this rub-on from Maggie Holmes, and it says something. Can't remember. It's the little things or something like that. And it's a greenish color, so I'm going to include that as well. And so now I have it kind of pretty much laid out how I want it. And so in a second here, I will right now I think I'm trying to decide whether I'm going to take a picture of it or what I'm going to do, but oh, I remember I decided to add a little bit of color to that treasure die cut that's above the photo, and right now I'm searching for, sorry you can see my jammy, I'm just searching for my little spritz pen that has some water in it so that I can wet that Tim Holtz Distress ink, which is in, I think it's Tattered Rose, which is apparently my favorite color because that's the one I use like every single time. So I'm just kind of dipping it in, and I'll let that dry, and it's just going to give it just a small amount of definition. And then we got some mushroom colored jelly bean soup stickers in this in the January kit, and I already had some in my stash, so I'm using those ones first. And I'm going to create my title, and it's going to be Grandma Edie. My grandma's name is Edith, and we call her Grandma Edie. So that's going to be my title. And I like these stickers because they are kind of tall and thin, so you can fit a longer phrase in a small space, which is what I need here. So I think I'm going to do something like that. Sorry the top is cut off. I'm just kind of fiddling and playing around, and then I'm going to move everything off and glue it down here in just a second. So you can see that just gives a little bit of a pink hue to that treasure die cut, and I like the way that that looks. So here, I think I'm going to take everything off, yes. And what I decide to do, so this is why I decided not to, I was going to use that paper as a background, but do you see that the back of that paper, it's that ombre pink wood grain? There's no way. So I had to make sure I saved some of that. So I have the other circle, and I might just keep it a circle and use it on another layout. It's very pretty. Anyway, so what I decided to do was to pop up the circle, like right around the circle, and then I'm going to adhere the edges with some score tape. So it will pop up a little bit in the center. So I can kind of tuck things in there and just to give it a little bit of extra dimension. It's not super noticeable because I'm using my thin foam squares to pop it up, but it gives it kind of just a little bit of depth. So I'm using my 1/2 inch and my 1/8 inch score tape. I love that stuff. I had 1/4 inch, it's almost gone, so I'm trying to preserve that. Conserve that, I guess would be the word. Yeah, so I'm just gonna take a minute and pull off all of the papers that are backing those adhesives, which is a little bit of a pain, but I really like both of these adhesives, so I endure it. And then I will, oh, I forgot my video cutout, so I just adhered that to the back of my paper, and I started replacing the pieces on my background. And I've got those two book spines in place, and then I also laid down my title, and now I'm just trying to decide exactly how I want those vellum phrases to appear. So I'm trying to make it so that everything is kind of in a loose vertical line. I've talked before about how I like to do L-shaped layouts, and so this is kind of one of those. So I've got a horizontal line with all of those embellishments and phrases, and then I've got my, vertical, and then I've got my horizontal line with those book spines. So what I just did was take my little Xyron adhesive, it's like a sticker maker, and I added adhesive to the back of the vellum pieces, just the hearts, because that is the perfect way to adhere them without, see here, I'm doing it again. And I also added another piece that I'm not going to use right now just so I didn't waste the adhesive. But it puts adhesive on the back of the vellum and you can't see through it. So I love using that to add my vellum pieces. The little phrases, I'm just putting the teeniest, tiniest little bit of adhesive on the back of because I'm going to go stitch them down. And I slowed down the video so that I could show you. I used my gold thread and just stitched along the tops of those little vellum pieces, and I love the way that looks. And you can get a little bit of a closer look at that embossing too. So I am just going to pull those threads through to the back like I like to do, and I'm just going to tape those down with some washi tape. And it takes me a minute. I really like pulling the threads through to the other side, and all I do is I yank on one of the threads that's in the back, and it kind of pulls the other thread through from the front side. So now I'm just going to fluff up those, fluff isn't really the right word, but I'm going to pull up those vellum pieces a little bit so they have some more dimension, and then I'm going to go and figure out my journaling. So I went to my typewriter, and I apparently had a lot to say. So I'm having a little bit of a struggle with where I'm going to put this journaling, and I'm going to cut it up in an effort to decide where I want to put it. So at first I thought I would put it at the bottom right. Then I felt that that was going to be really bottom heavy. And so I decided not to do that. So I'm going to audition it on the top right, and I don't like that either. So what I end up doing is placing it down the right side of the circle. And I was hesitant to do this because I had made such an effort to make those embellishments on the right side, and I kind of feel like the journaling detracts from the embellishments on the right. I wish I would have made it so that I could include the journaling alongside the embellishments so there was still that white space for your eye to rest on the right. It just didn't work out that way, but in this case, the story is infinitely more important than the embellishment, and so I'm not going to redo the page. I'm just going to go with it, and I think it turns out okay in the end. So I'm just going to cut those into little pieces, and I'm leaving one line on some of them, two lines on others, a few on some of the other ones, and just kind of varying the widths of the strips. And I'm just going to start adhering them down. And what I'm going to do is just bounce back and forth um, on where they start and end, and I'm going to tuck some of them underneath the circle so they look like they're kind of coming out from there. And again, this wasn't the design choice I would normally make, but it's what I needed to do to include the journaling on there. I could have put the journaling on the back, but I don't normally do that, and this is just the way that I like to do it. So, like I said, I think it turned out fine, and I'm going with it because the story is so important to me that it doesn't matter if it doesn't look perfect. So now I'm just searching for something to add a little bit more to the layout. It needs a little bit, everything's paper, and so I wanted a little bit more dimension. So I grabbed a puffy sticker from, I think those are Gossamer Blue, and those are the smoothest, softest puffy stickers ever, and I love them. So I thought about putting Malia and Grandma Edie, but I just decided to add the ampersand without kind of a real purpose, just kind of a as a motif for like you and me, or just an ampersand to me represents more than one. And so since my daughter's reading to my grandma, I felt like that would work. And then I pulled out these little enamel hearts from Lily Bee. And Lily Bee, I don't believe, is making products anymore, but I love these little hearts. And I pulled out some aqua ones because they matched perfectly, and I kind of felt like that finished off the layout. I'm going to add some Heidi Swap Color Shine, just dot it around a little bit on along with the embellishment because I wanted to bring a little bit more weight to that side since I added so much weight with the journaling on the right. And that is going to complete the layout. I took several close-up pictures because I just, in real life, this is so much more beautiful than the photos even show, but I appreciate you watching, and I appreciate so much all of your kind comments and all of that. I read everything. I don't always get a chance to respond, but I wanted to say thank you. And thank you to all of my new subscribers. And if you have any questions, just leave a comment below. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.